Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Life with Everyday Haley. I'm going to update you in this video on our chromosome testing. So this is a part of our journey through recurrent pregnancy loss workup. And I do have this mentioned in a couple videos along the way, but no like specific video focusing on it. And I was specifically waiting until we got through all of that to discuss it. So we have come to the other side of that now. First, I want to explain what chromosome testing is because I didn't know what that was either before I was on this journey. So what we did was we met with a fertility specialist who mentioned you've had recurrent pregnancy loss. So one of the steps in the process of workup is karyotype chromosome testing. So what is your karyotype? Your karyotype is the arrangement of your chromosomes in your body, and everybody has 46. A normal person has 46, and they have to be arranged properly. When you and your spouse go to have a child, if your chromosomes are not arranged properly, there can be issues with your child's karyotype. Basically, that's very basic, but that's what that means. And so you can, if I have they call it a transbalance mislocation on my karyotype, you can Google that. If something was misarranged on my karyotype, I might be fine and I might not realize that I have that problem. But when I go to conceive, it may not pass on correctly. So only about 5% of couples in the space of recurrent loss identify with a karyotype issue. But it's actually a pretty easy assessment test. It takes time and it's expensive, but it's actually a pretty easy blood test that you can check off. So my doctor referred us to the genetics team there. And after talking with them and just understanding that, you know, one of the only signs of this are recurrent losses, I felt compelled to move forward. I'm under the impression that after 2 to 3 losses, this is suggested for couples. And so when we had this done, we hadn't had some other testing done that has actually given us some answers, but it was one of the earlier tests that we did. So our results came back perfect. So that was something that was so reassuring for us, that mine came back normal and his came back normal. Again, it only affects about 5% of couples in this space, but some people identify with this and they can have just loss after loss after loss and not really know why until they get this done. So if we had tested like negatively, like our chromosomes had a problem, then I think, I'm not a medical professional, but I believe couples are referred to IVF. And the genetic doctor was explaining to us that we had a very small chance of actually having like a genetically normal embryo if we had a chromosome issue. And so it scared me a lot, honestly. So that's what made me want to do this test before we moved forward with trying to get pregnant again. So what they advise is that you test the female first. So we tested me first. I had to call my insurance just to make sure they would cover it, or cover the cost of the test, or, you know, my deductible, you know, maybe I have to meet my deductible and then, you know, whatever's left they would cover. So I called my insurance and I gave them like the codes, and it's diagnostic testing. And so when I called them, they actually told me that I would have to pay like to meet my deductible first. And just to let you know, these tests can be quite pricey. So without insurance, the test for me came back as like $2,300. And I called my insurance and they were like, you know, you need to meet your deductible before we'll cover any of this testing. So I was expecting to pay like maybe $700. Well, it turns out as of now, it looks like my insurance covered the entire cost of the test. I have really good insurance, And I don't know why my insurance provider said I would have to pay, but then it looks like my insurance covered the entire thing. So we're just really thankful for that. We were just prepared to pay for that and just deal with that as it came. The doctor told us we would test me first. If mine came back negative, like incorrect or bad, then we wouldn't need to test him, because it doesn't matter if it's one. Only one person is needed to be a bad result for it to be affected. So one result equals, an answer, bad result. So when mine came back positive, it did take about 3 weeks to come back, 3 weeks on the dot. So that was a lot of waiting. I got the result that my chromosome was fine. I had normal chromosome karyotype. So then we said, okay, like, we need to test you. So we tested him. He has a different insurance provider than I do. But we just said, you know what? We don't know what your insurance will cover, but we need to do this test. So we just said, okay, let's just do the test. Sometimes you just have to do it and figure it out later. That's kind of what we did. I told him, I said, it may be $1,000. That's what I would expect. You do have insurance. We'll just go from there. And I will say he really didn't want to do this test, and I get that, because it's only a small percent of people identify with this. And he was like, this kind of might be a waste of money. But at the same time, I'm like, heaven forbid this is a problem. We will never be able to fix it if we don't know this. So we did agree to go ahead and do his. His as well took 3 weeks to come back. And his insurance did not fully cover his chromosome testing. We have gotten the bill back for that. And we didn't think they would, because he doesn't have the kind of insurance plan that I have. I have more health issues, so I do have like the premium health insurance plan. But I think his bill ended up being about $700. So again, we got out of it with both of us for $700. So it could have been worse. It could have been worse. And that was a huge test to check off the list of potential reasons. So I just wanted to explain the karyotype test. It is usually suggested after a few losses. Now, if you follow my story, they actually found something else in my testing after we already had this done, called chronic endometritis. So that very well could be a reason that I've had the pregnancy loss issues that I've had. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you can view my channel for those videos about that diagnosis. But we have normal chromosome types. So what that means in closing is when we go to have a baby, the embryo should be healthy and genetically normal. And we do know that most miscarriages are caused by genetically abnormal embryos that just happen in the development process incorrectly. That can happen in a lot of miscarriages, and that's unavoidable. That can just happen. But if you have, recurrent miscarriages, chances are, more than likely, not all your embryos are just bad luck. There's probably a reason that your body is having issues keeping your pregnancy. So thank you for watching this video about our chromosome testing, why we did it, how much it cost, what our results were. And if you have any questions about this test, or you've done this test, put them below so we can talk about it. Thanks so much, and have a great day.